As we get older, we carry decades of experience, love, and memories. But sometimes we also carry phrases. Phrases we heard from our own parents. Phrases we say without thinking, out of worry, disappointment, or habit. And though we don't mean to hurt, some words quietly push our adult children away, even when all we want is connection. In this video, we'll explore 5 phrases seniors should gently retire, not out of guilt, but out of love, because better words lead to better relationships, and healing can begin with something as simple as what we choose not to say. Phrase number 1, after all I've done for you. It's a phrase that slips out when we're hurt, when we feel forgotten, when we remember the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the years we poured into raising them, and suddenly in a moment of disappointment, the words come out. After all I've done for you. But here's the quiet truth many elderly parents don't realize. This phrase doesn't create closeness. It creates guilt. It doesn't open hearts. It shuts them down. Because to your adult children, what they hear is, I'm not enough. I'm disappointing you. My love is being measured against a debt I can never repay. And deep down, that's not what you mean at all. You're not asking for repayment. You're longing for recognition, for gratitude, for connection. But when that longing turns into emotional weight, it pushes the relationship into imbalance, from love into obligation. For many adult children, hearing this phrase creates deep guilt, even if they're doing their best. Feel like their current life is never enough to match your past sacrifices, makes them afraid to share their struggles because it will only lead to comparison. Turns love into a scorecard where they are always behind. No one wants to feel like a disappointment, and when they do, they often pull away. Not because they don't love you, but because they don't know how to please you anymore. Behind this phrase, there may be a longing to feel appreciated, a desire to be seen for all the love you gave, a fear that they're drifting too far, a quiet pain. Do they remember how much I cared? All of these feelings are valid, but expressing them through guilt only deepens the distance. The good news? There's a better way to speak that truth, one that brings you closer, not farther apart. Try gentle phrases that invite connection without pressure. I'm so proud of the person you've become. Watching you as an adult makes me reflect on all our memories. I'm grateful for them. Sometimes I miss how close we used to be. I'd love to find our rhythm again. Or even simply, you'll always be my child. That love never changes. These words aren't about debt. They're about love freely given and still freely present. Raising children is one of life's deepest acts of love, but love that is remembered most is love that's offered without keeping score. So if you find yourself wanting to say, after all I've done for you, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what do I truly want in this moment? Guilt or connection? Because your love isn't a bill, it's a blessing. And sometimes the most healing thing you can say is nothing more than, I still love you, simply because you're mine. Phrase number 2, you never call, you've forgotten me. It slips out easily after another quiet evening, after seeing your phone stay silent for days, maybe weeks, and when your child finally does call or visit, it comes out, half joke, half truth. Oh, you remembered I exist? You never call anymore. I guess you've forgotten your old mother, father. But while these words come from a place of hurt and longing, they often land with blame, not love. To your adult child, what they hear isn't a request for connection. It sounds like a judgment, a guilt trip, a subtle message that says, no matter what you do, it's not enough. And even if you don't mean it that way, the damage still happens. Why this phrase creates distance, not closeness. Your child might be balancing work, children, stress, health, and their own worries, feeling shame about not calling more often, and avoiding you out of guilt, interpreting your words as emotional punishment, beginning to believe that every interaction with you will come with guilt, and when a phone call feels like walking into a guilt storm, they call less, not more. Because no one enjoys being made to feel like a disappointment, especially when they already feel stretched thin. When you say, you never call, what you may actually want to say is, I miss you. Hearing your voice brings me joy. I feel lonely sometimes, and I just want to feel close again. I don't want to be forgotten in this new chapter of your life. These are deeply human feelings, valid, heartfelt, and important. But when wrapped in sarcasm or guilt, they become hard for your child to receive. Try leading with vulnerability and love, not expectation. It means so much when I hear from you. Your voice always lifts my heart. I know you're busy, but I treasure every message you send. I miss talking with you. If you ever have a few minutes, I'd love to catch up. Or even no pressure, but I always smile when I see your name on my phone. These words express longing without guilt and love without control. They open space, they invite presence, and most importantly, they make your child want to come closer, not run away. Loneliness is real, and the ache of silence, especially from your own child, can feel unbearable. But remember, guilt does not bring closeness. Love does. So instead of you never call, try I miss you, and I hope we talk soon. Because when your words are filled with kindness, not disappointment, you become a place your child wants to return to again and again. Phrase 3, you're doing it wrong. That's not how we did it. It can come from the best of intentions. You see your adult child trying to raise their kids, manage their household, or make a big decision you've already faced decades ago. And part of you wants to help, to protect, to guide. So the words come out, that's not how we did it. You're doing it wrong. That would have never worked back in my day. But instead of feeling helped, your adult child hears something else entirely. They hear, I'm not good enough. You don't trust me. You don't believe in the way I live my life. And suddenly, what could have been a moment of connection becomes a moment of quiet hurt. Why this phrase hurts, even when it comes from love. Your adult child is not just your child anymore. They're also a parent, a partner, a provider, a decision maker in their own right. When you criticize their choices, especially by comparing them to the past, you unintentionally dismiss the reality of their world today, undermine their confidence, make them feel like they have to prove something to earn your respect. Reinforce the gap between generations instead of bridging it. Even if you mean well, they may interpret it as, you think I'm failing, and no one thrives under that kind of pressure. When you say you're doing it wrong, what might really be underneath is concern, I want to protect you from mistakes I've already made. Nostalgia, things felt simpler when I was your age. Fear, the world looks so different now and I don't understand it. Longing, I want to feel useful, needed, relevant. These are valid emotions, but they deserve to be expressed in ways that invite trust, not tension. Try offering encouragement first, then sharing gently, only if asked. It's amazing to see how you're raising your family. I know it's not easy in today's world. If you ever want to hear how we handled that back then, I'd be happy to share, but I respect your way too. You're doing so much. I'm proud of you. This builds a bridge. You're still offering wisdom, but now it feels like a gift, not a judgment. Yes, the world is different now, and yes, some things may seem unfamiliar or even confusing, but what your child often needs most isn't a correction, it's your belief in them. Because long after advice fades, what stays with them is how you made them feel about themselves. So the next time you're tempted to say, that's not how we did it, pause, smile, and remember, different doesn't mean wrong. It just means they're learning in their own way. And your trust may be the one thing that helps them grow stronger than anything else ever could. Phrase number 4, I guess I'll just be alone forever. It usually comes out in a moment of sadness. Maybe they didn't visit this weekend. Maybe the phone didn't ring. Maybe you were left out of a family event or plans changed last minute. And so, with a soft sigh or a little bit of sarcasm, you say, don't worry about me. I'll just sit here alone forever. I guess nobody needs me anymore. You all have your lives now. I'm just the old one left behind. And while these words seem like just an expression of loneliness to your adult children, they feel like a quiet form of emotional pressure. Instead of hearing, I miss you, they hear, you're neglecting me. You're not doing enough. I'm the victim, and it's your fault. And that kind of message often leads to the very thing you don't want, more distance. Why this phrase can be harmful. Even if unintentional, guilt-based language doesn't build connection. It builds resentment, shame, or silent withdrawal. Your child may feel overwhelmed and helpless. Avoid calling out of guilt or fear of being scolded. Believe that they can never meet your expectations. Begin to see your loneliness as something they're responsible for, even if they're doing their best. The result? They feel burdened, not welcomed, and no one returns to a place where they feel like a failure. When you say, I guess I'll be alone forever, what you might really mean is, I miss feeling connected to my family. It's hard to watch life move on without me. I feel forgotten, and that hurts more than I can say. I want to be included, remembered, needed. These are honest, tender feelings, but expressing them through guilt only deepens the silence. Try speaking from the heart with kindness. I'd love to spend some time with you soon. Just hearing your voice means a lot to me. It always brightens my day when I get a call from you. I know you're busy, but I miss you. Let's find a moment to connect. You don't need to hide your loneliness, but you can express it as a desire, not a punishment. This turns the conversation from obligation to opportunity for closeness. Loneliness is real, especially as we grow older, and it's okay to want more connection. But when that longing becomes guilt, we lose the warmth we were hoping for. So instead of saying, I guess I'll be alone forever, try saying, I miss being close, and I'm always happy when we talk. Because when your presence feels like peace, not pressure, your children won't avoid you. They'll seek you out. And love, when it's given gently, always finds its way home. Phrase number 5, you owe me everything. It may be said in anger or in disappointment or in a moment of deep sacrifice that hasn't been acknowledged. You think about all the years, the diapers changed, the nights you didn't sleep, the jobs you worked to keep food on the table, the dreams you put aside so your children could have theirs. And then, when you feel unappreciated, the words come out, you owe me everything. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have a thing. You wouldn't even be here without what I gave up. The feelings are real, but the impact, it's often deeply wounding and quietly damaging to the parent-child bond. Why this phrase feels so heavy to adult children. To your child, this phrase doesn't feel like love. It feels like a contract, a reminder that every kind word, every hug, every gift came with interest. Even if that wasn't your intention, it can sound like your success belongs to me. You owe me your time, your money, your life. You're never doing enough to repay me. And when love becomes transactional, it stops feeling safe. Adult children begin to pull away, not because they don't care, but because they feel like they'll never be free to love on their own terms. When you say you owe me everything, what you may actually be feeling is, I gave so much and I feel forgotten. I hoped my children would do for me what I did for them. I'm scared of being alone, and I wish they understood how much I need them now. I need to feel valued, not just as a parent, but as a person. These are deeply human needs, but expressing them through debt only deepens the emotional gap. Try expressing the gift of parenting, not the cost of it. Raising you was the greatest honor of my life. I'm proud of who you've become. Your life is your own, and I'm grateful to have been part of it. I don't need anything from you. Just hearing your voice reminds me it was all worth it. You can also say, there are days I feel invisible, not because of anything you've done, but because I miss being needed. Thank you for showing up when you can. These words open space. They don't trap your child in guilt. They invite them into love. You gave your children life, and they are forever shaped by your care, your sacrifices, your love. But what they need most now is not a reminder of what they owe. It's a reminder that they are loved just as they are, no transaction required. Because real legacy isn't built through guilt, it's built through generosity of spirit. And the greatest gift a parent can give, even late in life, is the freedom for their child to love them by choice, not by duty. As we age, we often lose some things: speed, certainty, attention from others. But one thing we never lose is the power of our words. Words can build bridges or burn them. They can heal or quietly harm. And sometimes the phrases we say without thinking, out of habit, pain, or longing, are the very things that push away the people we love most. But here's the beautiful truth. It's never too late to speak with kindness, never too late to soften your words, never too late to repair what time or pride may have worn down, because your voice still matters. Not because it commands, but because it carries wisdom, warmth, and the power to comfort. If this video helped you reflect on your words or reconnect with your adult children, please like this video. It helps others find healing too. Subscribe to True Senior Wisdom for more honest, loving guidance on aging well in body, mind, and relationships. And in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. What phrase are you ready to release, or what new words have helped you connect more gently with your children? Because here we don't seek perfection, we seek presence. And we believe that healing between generations begins with one courageous conversation. So speak with love, pause with grace, and remember, a softened voice often reaches farther than a raised one ever could.